The opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Eastlink Community TV, its sponsors, or partners.
Welcome back to another episode of the Unlikely Innovators. I'm joined, as always, by Steve Gravel, and I'm Mike Commito, and we're here to bring you the unlikely stories and journeys of entrepreneurs, innovators from across Northern Ontario. Today, we're so pleased to be joined by Cody Ruberto, who is the founder and CEO of URide, a rideshare company dedicated to ending impaired driving in smaller communities. A former professional soccer player, Cody turned his passion for helping others into a mission to make transportation safer and more accessible. So Cody, we're beaming you in. So happy to have you on the show. We're in Sudbury, you're in San Fran, but you obviously have a soft spot for Northern Ontario. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm back in Canada tomorrow, but yeah, thanks for having me on the show. Super excited to chat.
Yeah, likewise.
I think the kids say SF now.
I don't know what that means.
Like for San Francisco, that's.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like you're ruining it.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm just not the show. You're ruining SF.
Just the show's been ruined.
Yeah, the show's been ruined. Anyway,
if I'm saying SF, SF is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
We're gonna recover from this, Cody. The first question we had for you was, startup advisors might say that when there's two Goliaths like Uber and Lyft in a market space, it'd be difficult to gain entry into that space. But obviously, we know that's not the case, and there was obviously something that you saw there that made a compelling case for you to go forward with URide. Can you talk about what you saw in the existing market that you felt would make this venture successful and how you've been able to make a go of it?
Yeah, so the simple thing is it was just a problem that shouldn't exist. And so if I would have, like, the scary part is if I actually knew about the startup world, like I didn't know anything about startups. I didn't know what a venture capitalist was at the time. So I wasn't part of this whole world. And you're right that like every single person you would talk to, if you wanted to do an idea like this, they would say it's a really dumb idea. Don't do it. You're going to get crushed. And we heard a lot of that all throughout the years after we started. So fortunately, I didn't know anything about the world, and it was just about this whole startup world, and it was just a problem that I thought shouldn't exist. And the whole company started. It wasn't even a company at the start. It was just like I would go out with friends. My background was soccer, so I got injured. I was recovering from surgeries. I flew back to Thunder Bay to do my rehab from Europe. Just every time I would go out, end of the night, I'd see crowds of people stranded with no ride home in like -30. I just thought, this is insane. People would wait an hour for taxis or just walk home or drink and drive. And I've had friends who have been killed by impaired drivers. I also have friends who have been behind the wheel, drunk and killed someone. And it's just like these problems shouldn't exist. These smaller rural communities, like we have 7 times the number of deaths caused by impaired driving compared to bigger cities that have transportation options. And so literally it just started with me giving people free rides home from the bar, and I couldn't make a difference as one person. So we started a rideshare company in Thunder Bay to fix this problem, originally just there. And then it was like, I would be driving all the time, and I'd get passengers from Sudbury, from different cities across Ontario and then across Canada telling us, with the same problem you have, please expand to our city. And so, again, didn't start off as like a business or anything like that. It was just, here's this massive problem. Like, we need to fix this first for my town. And then it turned out to be a problem. Smaller communities across Canada. And it turns out there's like 1 billion people in small towns around the world that still don't have access to reliable transportation. And we need to change that.
Yeah, it's certainly something I think that we can relate to in Sudbury. I remember back in the day, there used to be this like time, if you were downtown in Sudbury from like 11:30 until 2, we called it the Bermuda Triangle, because you were not getting out at that time. You basically had to, if you were lucky, like pre-order a taxi, or to your point, you're driving home or you're getting into maybe, dangerous circumstances. And it's something that I definitely would have made a lot of use of back in the day, but certainly happy to have it now, and we certainly make use of it.
Yeah, and I think, is it the case, Cody, that, the big rideshare groups, like these are too small of markets for them to go after? Is that sort of the differentiator for you?
Yeah, I think that if you look at like the kind of bigger rideshare companies around the world, a lot of their focus is on like the major cities. That's where the majority of their rides come from. Majority of where their focus is. Operating in Sudbury and Northern Ontario is a lot different than operating like downtown Toronto or Vancouver, where there's it's harder to. One of the hard things in these smaller cities is to get enough drivers and enough riders to kind of make everything work and make it where drivers are making enough to stay on the platform and they're happy and telling their friends about it, but passengers are also getting picked up quick. And so, yeah, the model of for these bigger rideshare companies is a little bit different and works better in bigger cities. So I think, yeah, one, focus, two, the way that they operate is a little bit different. It doesn't work great in these small towns. And for us, I mean, I'm from Thunder Bay. I grew up in Thunder Bay, and I'm from a small town like Northern Ontario. So we like the reason we exist is to fix the problem in these areas. And I mean, it's what I think about when I go to sleep. It's what I think about when I wake up in the morning. And our whole team is just obsessed with fixing the transportation problems in these smaller communities.
I can imagine. We're going to head for our first break in a couple minutes here, but I wanted to say Mike and I have actually used the platform in Timmins, Thunder Bay, and even Penticton. And it's been very sort of uniform in standard of service. It's been really great. And I wanted to ask you, like, I guess it has been like a game changer for some of these communities, right? Especially the tourism ecosystem in these communities.
100%. Like transportation is a core part of just life, right? So again, we started mainly for the bar rush, prevent impaired driving, all that, but we operate 24/7. People going to and from work, people going to and from grocery stores, and the coolest. One of the coolest moments of my life actually was like I remember a month after we launched. I was in Thunder Bay and there's Red River Road is the main area where there's like all the bars and restaurants. And remember a month after we launched, I'm standing on the side of the road and I saw a taxi parked in front of a bar waiting, just waiting for someone to come out and get in. And like, I'd never seen that before. I'd never seen a car like it was so hard to get taxis that as soon as a taxi came, there'd be 10 people jumping in and fighting for it. And it was just chaos. So that was one of the coolest things where like the taxis really stepped up their game after we launched. And, it kind of made them get a lot better with us launching as well. It lasted for a limited period, but yeah, now like across all of our cities, people are getting picked up in under 10, an average pickup time of under 10 minutes. They're saving money. And, it's so cool that a problem that existed for 30 years in these towns like doesn't really exist anymore. People have access to reliable transportation. So I'm super proud like of all of the drivers who have helped me make this happen. Everyone working on the management team to recruit drivers, onboard them, get them making enough money, and to all of our passengers who have helped spread the word. It's been pretty cool that together we still want to keep getting better, but we've fixed massive problem across all these smaller communities. So more people going to bars, restaurants, more people going out and about when they actually have a ride home at the end of the night as well. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think we're going to take our first break. But when we come back, I think Mike's going to ask you about some of the expansion that we talked about before, more with Cody Ruberto when we come back.
We're back with Cody and talking about URide, and offline we were chatting about that this week. You're heading back to Canada. You're about to launch in Halifax, but we also know that you have plans for expansion into Europe, starting with Germany. Obviously, when we chatted earlier about our first question about you kind of just jumping into the world and not necessarily really knowing much about the startup landscape or VC and all those things, but I guess I may know the answer to this question, but I'd love to hear it from you directly. When you started URide, with just $3,000, did you ever in your wildest dreams think that one day you'd be on the precipice of global expansion, let alone, all the great things you've done before?
At the start, no. I was just like, let's fix this problem in Thunder Bay and try to, get people. We were just obsessed with making sure every passenger got picked up every single day and night. And then shortly after, when we learned that this is a problem that exists across Canada and around the world, we said, yeah, this like. I know the problems that we had in Northern Ontario, a lot of our communities. So no one should have to be left stranded. Doesn't matter what city, what country, around the world, small towns everywhere should have access to reliable transportation. So really quickly it shifted from like, let's solve this problem, in Northern Ontario, and then across Canada, to we got to fix this problem around the world.
Yeah, and I mean, Europe is an interesting place because it's kind of like maybe a more condensed version of Canada, where you have a number of regional municipalities that maybe don't have the critical mass of some of the major urban centers. So it seems like, is Europe sort of the obvious next target market for you? Is that sort of how that worked? The similarities were
Yeah, and we're also operating in Mexico, so we're operating in
I
northern
didn't know
Mexico
that.
right now. So we'll continue expanding across there. We're launching Germany right now, so that'll be the next country that we're focusing on. Then that'll be sort of our entry into Europe. And yeah, we got a lot of work ahead of us. There's different countries around the world, these smaller towns that still have nothing, and so yeah, if you look at like India, if you look at all different parts of the world, it's sort of the same problem in these small towns everywhere. So. A lot of work ahead of us, but I'm pretty excited to go try to fix this around the world.
Yeah, and I think one thing that I'll tell you, and I don't know if this will interest you or not. So we were in a mining conference in Montreal, Mike and I actually overheard one of the conference attendees say, "Call a URide," and like they meant Uber because they don't have URide in Montreal, right? But it's like sort of when you become Google or Kleenex for something. That's a good thing to hear. I have a slight suspicion they were from Northern Ontario, but anyways, it's good to hear the brand name mentioned in other urban centers too, right?
Oh man, that's so cool. Yeah, I meet like URide riders and drivers everywhere. So sometimes like on when I'm in Toronto, just walking around, if I have like URide gear on, people like will start talking. And I remember another time I was on a flight. This was like a couple of years ago from I think it was from like Toronto to Dallas, Texas or something. And there was like a URide driver on there and a URide passenger. And it's, yeah. And then even in Mexico, like obviously we operate in Mexico now, but I randomly ran into some Canadians who were URide passengers. That happened to me a couple times when we were launching down there, where I met riders from Kelowna and a couple other cities. That was, it's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always shocked and I'm pretty excited, but yeah, still a long ways to go though.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, you have to keep that mindset that there's always a long way to go, right? And in keeping with that, we're talking about territorial expansion. Some other ride share programs have, expanded into like food delivery and using other tech. What kind of plans does URide have for expansion? Not necessarily exactly into food, but if it is food or whatever other technological offerings you're thinking about that you could share with us, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So just in the future, if you need rides, deliveries, or any kind of service, like getting your lawn cut or your driveway shoveled, we want you to be able to come on the URide platform, click a button, and someone will be able to, get the job, come help you, and kind of take care of what you need. If you're someone who wants to work in one of these towns or start a business in these towns, you can come on our platform, say what you want to do, and we'll connect you to all the people in your city that need help. So in the future, I think that we have the opportunity to, basically make it as easy as clicking a button to kind of run your life and get access to all different services in these towns. And again, from the other side, if you're someone who wants to work, create a business, you can join our platform and you just automatically get connected to all the people that need your help. So I think that'd be pretty cool. Right now, we're really focused on expanding with ride sharing and fixing this problem everywhere. But at the same time, we'll probably start experimenting with some of these different services in the next couple, well, I'd say within the next 1 to 2 year, start playing around and running some tests.
Yeah, I was about to caution you about giving a timeline.
Yeah. I would do it tomorrow if I can. It's like focus scales, complex fails. So it's like if you either can I've gotten advice from a bunch of different people, and I think this is true for the most part. If you focus on one thing and you go really deep in one thing and you want to expand that thing around the world, focus is very, very important. If you want in one city to test all the different verticals, it's a lot easier if you're like doing one or the other versus doing both of them at the same time. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
For sure.
Cody, we're gonna, after we come back from our break, we're gonna ask you some Thunder Bay questions because Steve and I are admittedly big Thunder Bay boosters. But before we do that, I wanted to ask you a question that we asked Peter Del Bianco as part of the season, and he's a name that you're probably familiar with through the entrepreneurship in and angel investment community, but we'd asked Peter how he defines success. And for you, I'm wondering, when you think about the company, whether it's now or in 5 to 10 years, how do you define success for URide? Is it sticking to that core mission that you focused on to help eliminate these unnecessary, tragedies, or is it? Do you have a number in mind, markets in mind? What do you think about when you think about how you measure if the company's been successful?
Yeah. So right now, I think it'd be pretty cool to fix this problem around the world. So for us, being in 1,000 cities with 10 million riders, doing 100 million rides a year by 2030, that would be pretty cool. And then I don't know. I think how do you measure success? I think the number of people you can impact. Times like the amount of impact, how impactful it is. So I don't know. I think that us expanding to all these places, if we can eliminate a problem that existed for 30 years across these towns, which is really high impact. If we can do that across 1,000 cities, that's pretty awesome. And if we can create, tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of jobs along the way, that would be really, really cool as well. So I don't know. Yeah, just keep trying to make an impact. And I think if you do that and you help people and you solve a problem, you can also, build a business and create jobs for a bunch of people and stuff like that too. So yeah, bit of a long answer. So
no, that's great. I think we definitely look forward to seeing that play out. I know that it's certainly been a help in our community and something that we've made use of elsewhere. So we're definitely big URide boosters, but we're also Thunder Bay boosters, which we'll talk about right after this next break. All right, we're back with Cody Ruberto from URide. So Cody, I spent 3 years of my life in Thunder Bay. So admittedly, my Thunder Bay boosting comes honestly. I went to St. Pius Elementary back in the day. Not sure what high school I would have went to. I left Thunder Bay after grade 6, but still love going to Thunder Bay for work, love visiting. And Steve is a big Thunder Bay booster through your time there with OCI, formerly OCE.
Yeah, I used to, you got to really not sleep on the startup ecosystems in some of these small communities, right? And I used to go up and judge a startup pitch competition that happened, unfortunately or fortunately, on Super Bowl weekend every year. So I was up there in the coldest part of the year, also missing the Super Bowl every year for about 3 years. But we became huge Thunder Bay guys as a result of being up there so much. I love the city.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite places in Northern Ontario, and I do think that people sleep on it. So one of the things we wanted to ask you is, obviously, as somebody who's grown up there and still spends time there, what is your favorite thing about Thunder Bay that most people would not necessarily know about?
What's my favorite thing about Thunder Bay? So one thing is I people watching this, if you guys haven't hiked the Sleeping Giant, it is spectacular. It's one of the most incredible hikes I've been on in my life. And it's in Thunder Bay and not a lot of people sort of know about it. I think a lot of people know about the Sleeping Giant, but hiking it is spectacular. Again, probably one of the nicest hikes I've been on in my life, if not the nicest.
We used to, when I lived there, we used to go camping in Sleeping Giant Provincial Park. So tenting in that provincial park.
Do you have to take a boat to get there?
Cody, I'll defer to you on this because
you could drive there or you could take the boat across, but yeah.
Well, I was going to say, when we were there for work, we were at the
Mount McKay.
Yeah, we did the Mount McKay hike. That was a lot. That was a great view. Although people
that's a cool one.
It wasn't.
It's not a mountain; it's a mesa.
Well, this is you saying this.
No, it's not me. I have it on good authority that it's a mesa, not a mountain. Whatever the difference is.
Well, we're not getting
into the definitions of geological
and
formations.
mesas. This is the next segment of the podcast where we talk about topography.
We run a geology podcast in our spare time. Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, related to Thunder Bay, the friend of the show, Keith Krieger, who works at the city here locally, doesn't like Persians. What do you say to a person that would even utter that in public settings?
Yeah, I don't think he can say that in Thunder Bay. Persians are unbelievable. How many Persians has he tried? Where did he try from? Because I would also say that the Persians from the Persian man and the Nucci family, they're spectacular. That's the original Persian. There's some Persians that are sort of kind of like the replicas. Yeah, those ones aren't as good. We need to get him an original Persian. And I think we would change his mind.
I think so too. We were on a boat with him one day when he told us this, and I think we were both tempted to throw him overboard because I had never heard something so blasphemous. My Thunder Bay Persian story. I'll peel back the curtain a bit. When kids have pizza day at school. So back in the day, I went to I was good buddies with Justin Nucci, whose family owns Nucci's Bacon Deli, and for pizza day we would get a slice of pizza, milk, and a Persian, which is like a uniquely Thunder Bay thing because nowhere else in Canada could that be your lunch. But that was like every other Friday was slice of pizza, Persian, nothing better than that.
It's like a cinnamon bun with this. How would you describe it? The icing on top. It's like
I think it's raspberry, right? Like, is it raspberry? Or people said strawberry, but I think it's raspberry.
It's got to have some raspberries in there. I don't know the actual recipe, but it is spectacular. And you have to try it. If you go to Thunder Bay, go by Nucci's or the Persian Man, and it's one of the best desserts. Oh, but definitely one of, if not the best dessert I've had in my life.
There's definitely a point of pride when you see Northerners doing great things that are not just great, maybe financially, but also like great community and nation building stuff. And I think that's what the URide story is all about, right?
Yeah, honestly, I think we all did this together. So again, I'm not a business person, not a tech person. I had no idea what I was doing. But the amount of support we had from all of our drivers, from riders, from the community, it felt like there was this force behind us, kind of helping us grow, obviously in Sudbury, Thunder Bay, in the cities that we're in, but helping us spread across the country, now helping us spread across globally. So yeah. There's no chance we would be here without all the support from Northern Ontario, and it's been really, really incredible to see. And I guess I got to tell you, the drivers and the people we have on the front lines, some of the coolest people I've ever met. We have some people that honestly should be saints. There's people that, I don't know, one person, Roger, on his birthday every year, he literally just buys a bunch of promo codes to give out across the city, and then we always match it. This is the same person every time he has a passenger that is having a tough day or struggling, sends us a message to give the person a free ride. And there's so many examples of that kind of across the country. And I'm just super grateful for all of our drivers, all of our riders, everyone in the city that kind of told their friends about us and helped us grow. And even you guys, booking in Penticton. That's so cool that you tested the service when you were there. So we're doing this together, and I'm super grateful. And it's insane the impact that we're all having.
Well, I think what's cool too is with URide that might be different from some of the other platforms is when you call it, you could get a Ram pickup truck. You know what I mean? That's something you don't see too often in bigger cities. So
the red one here in town?
Yeah. Or the one in Penticton, that big gray one that picked us up.
Yeah.
It's definitely a bit of comfort for our northern souls when we see one of those things drive up instead of a micro SUV or something else, right? So
yeah, and that's it. Unreal.
Anyway, Cody, maybe to close out, just very quickly, crystal ball this for me. 10 years, where's URide at from now?
10 years. URide is in smaller communities around the world. We're making a huge impact. We're basically, we have any service that you want in your city. You can click a button and get connected, and it just sort of happens. We're creating millions of jobs around the world. We're solving a bunch of problems in smaller communities. We are every month, we basically take a portion of all rides and donate it to different causes, whether it's a shelter house, whether it's Humane Society. So that in 10 years will be 1,000 times bigger. And so the amount of good deeds and people we're helping is going to be just massive on top of all, the services that the platform's providing and all that. So I'm excited. 10 years, but we got a lot of work to do today to make it happen. So we'll keep chipping away.
Oh, we believe in it. Let's go, right?
Yeah. Keep at it.
Cody Ruberto, Cody from URide, thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome. So I'll see you guys in Sudbury soon.
Yeah, right sounds good.
Take care.
Take it easy.
Travel.
Awesome. Let's go.
We're good to start?
No.
Or no?
Stand by.
Okay.
Yeah, the first we're
Good
good
means the
is
segment is good.
yeah. We're getting the hang of this. We're used to like podcasting and not like in studio stuff, so
Yeah.
hopefully this has
Okay.
been painless for you so far.
It's been good. This has been awesome. I'm having fun.
Good. Great.
Yeah.
That's the second, okay?
Okay.